Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of Bonnet Babble.
Welcome.
And let's get on with it. Ugh. Right, what's the time? Okay, so we've kind of got about half an hour until we've got to go and be grown-ups, haven't we? Shall I just cancel it? I don't really want to do it.
Well, you still got to make that call first.
I want to be miserable with him about it. Mother Dearest Part 1. Well, you've got to do that one first. That's a good one.
Go on then.
Go on then. Okay. Let's click on that.
And then
we're
done for the day.
We'll go and be a grown-up, okay. I'm not going to be able to edit these for a long time. Like, I've got at least a week's worth of editing to do now with everything we've recorded in 2 days. It's like 3 hours of footage.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, you're smarter than me at all this.
I didn't know how to do editing. I've had to learn the
but
hard way.
I don't have all of this at home.
We only need a
And I have
laptop.
to go home and be a parent
You
and
do.
wife.
Mm.
So I can't sit and work it all
Fiddle.
out.
Well, I mean, I have to be a parent and fiance, but I just shirk some of those responsibilities slightly. Yeah.
Well, you know, you're not going to be able to get any done tonight. You've got mine. I've got my kids.
I've also got tea on. They'll be fine. They can chill upstairs. I did some last week when they were here.
Mm.
But then they all came and invaded the living room and were very loud and jumping off the sofas.
Yeah.
Mm.
We'll have to give them a bit more of a warning.
Well, I've already told my boy.
Well, I've told mine that you can ban them from their games, so have fun with that one.
Thanks. Well, it was only when my son got home that they went mental.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah.
Yeah, because before that, they were quite happily being quiet.
Well, that's them normal.
I've done it. Why are you still alarming at me? I've taken my pill. Shush.
No, that's them normal. They're not actually
Feral.
completely feral.
Well, no, neither's
bit,
my son.
especially when you tell them to go to bed. Then
Yes.
that's when they turn a bit more feral.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when
they're all together, they just go mad.
but they just get so excited.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping novelty will wear off after a while.
Me too. We'll see. Right. Mother Dearest Part 1 is what we're doing today. So this is the start of a new series on the blog. And this is childhood memories. So we have the first one is a bit sad. The second one is mildly entertaining, and the third one is just outright bloody hilarious, if I do say so myself.
I'm just trying to think of which bit's which.
You'll see, won't you?
Yes.
So yeah,
I remember reading them all.
yeah, I did. When I was writing my personal saga, I just thought, look, Mother Dearest needs her own set of stories, because
She is featured quite a lot. Yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of bizarre behaviour, outright bizarre behaviour from her, that I just felt needed more prominence. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're rattly again. I'm going to make you take that off before we're recording. Every time you faff about, it's like... Stop it.
Okay.
Sit still. You're still faffing. Stop.
I'm taking it off.
We'll start in a minute. There we go. Now you're going to play with it on the desk, aren't you?
No, I've got my ring for that.
Okay,
I've got
good.
a fidget ring.
Anyway. So, for this series, I won't be going into details about the physical violence, but I suppose I can touch on it briefly. So it was few and far between anyway, but my Mother Dearest, she was a judo black belt European champion. Okay? Which meant if our arguments ever got heated and turned physical, I was stuffed. Stood no hope.
I just find it really difficult to understand why it would get physical between mother and daughter anyway. I'm used to my mum, and
She just had...
my mum wouldn't even dream of it.
I mean, I have a bad temper, but hers was off the scale bad-tempered. And it would always, when she lost the plot, she wouldn't, do the sensible thing and walk away. She would have her explosion and have her violence in whatever form it took, and then she would behave as if nothing had happened.
Weird.
Really strange.
No, my mum goes silent. When she goes silent, it just goes, That's when we know. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, no.
And when I was young, it was mostly kind of psychological warfare with her. It was only really violence when I, was a lot bigger as a teenager, and I'd started doing kickboxing and self-defense classes and things like that.
Equal partner.
Yes, equal footing.
That makes it okay.
Yeah. So
She says with heavy sarcasm.
yes, dripping with sarcasm. Yeah. Anyway, you're taking that one off now too.
Yeah, because I just noticed it's making a noise on the table. Just take all my bracelets off.
Yeah. So when I was a teenager and when I was a young adult, I obviously became a lot harder to manipulate mentally. So she had to find other tactics, which is where some physical violence came in. But anyway. So the very first mildly traumatic memory that I have, my mum and dad argued a lot, usually over something stupid. Yeah, it was usually the fact that there'd be a job that dad hadn't done in the house or something, and she would have an absolute conniption over it. Not the way I do with my partner. I get grumpy and about stuff like that, but
yeah, this get grumpy, but crack on and do it yourself.
Yeah, but this was full scale meltdown over stuff. To be honest, I think like me, she struggled with having a child. I love my two dearly, but there are times where, even this morning I was like, you both need to get in the bin because you won't stop squabbling. And then they started arguing over who would get in the bin first. Like, if that just doesn't sum up how, knobby my two children are. They're infuriating. Squabbling all the time. Anyway, so this argument that my mum and dad had, I still can't talk. I remember it resulted in mum telling dad he had to leave, and screaming at him to leave, get out sort of job. And I must have only been about 4 years old at the time. And she came and got me and paraded me into the bedroom where, my dad was packing his suitcase. And she told me I had to choose who I wanted to live with.
At 4 years old?
At 4, yeah.
My daughter's 4.
Yeah. So just, imagine that.
Just no.
Yeah.
That sort of play on your mind.
No, and it's not a decision I would ever put on my children. When me and their dad separated, it was very clear to us, this impacts them as little as possible.
Yeah.
They're not to be used as pawns in, our feuds.
But you've done that purely because of how
I now know how not to do it. Yes. Yeah. So
if there would come a day and your children decided to go live with their dad, you'd be like,
fine,
okay,
yeah, fine. If that's what they choose, if I end up being too crazy for them, which might happen, and especially with me and my daughter, I can see us really butting heads when she's a teenager.
Yeah, but I don't.
We already do now.
I don't see her wanting to move out because you are a security space.
Yeah, and Daddy rules with an iron fist, so she would get away with a lot less there.
She's too clever for that.
She is. She's too smart. Yeah, agreed. Anyway, so at that time, mum was still mum to me. She met all my immediate needs. Food, school, bedtimes, all that sort of stuff. And Dad he wasn't around much because he was working away, or working late, and I'd be asleep by the time he got back. So I picked her, and to this day, I still remember the look on his face. Yeah, it's just.
But does he know why you picked?
Yeah, well, the thing, I've spoken to him since, but it was so long ago and they had so many arguments. He doesn't remember this happening. And,
it's just a prominent point for you.
Yes, it's prominent for me, I think, because I was so young.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, so on a slightly more light-hearted anecdote would be Simbagate. So, here I would have been about 6, and The Lion King had just come out in the cinemas, okay? And I was obsessed. Loved it.
It's a good film.
It's awesome. And I
love it.
I can't watch it now because it makes me cry. Made me cry at the time. I still cry now.
Not when Mufasa dies.
Yeah. Oh, so sad. Anyway, I'd been to see it at the cinema and I was absolutely obsessed. And I was over the moon when Dad got me a cuddly toy Simba from the Disney shop as a present.
I love Disney shops. Yeah, they're all gone now.
I know. It's
the
all online and crap.
Cuddly toys.
Oh, yeah, it's dangerous to go into one of them though, especially with kids. I want that one and that one and that one. Or they just buy the whole shop.
£75 later.
Yeah. Oh, that's how when I went to Hogwarts, the Harry Potter thing.
I love Hogwarts.
I know, but when the shop at the
Still
end.
need to go again.
I thought to myself, skint at the time. I thought to myself, right, I'll give the kids 15 quid each to spend in the souvenir shop, thinking.
No.
Then get something for that.
No.
No.
Even the chocolate frogs.
Yes. Exactly. Even the sweets were more than £15.
I know.
Like,
Do you know what? Do you not remember me and your partner saying that we're going to go to Hogwarts because you decided to go without us?
Fine, go on your own, but you're not having any spending money.
Damn it. I will.
No, but fine, I will.
Tell him that we have to go this summer.
You'll have to deal with him. It's not my problem.
Oh, yes.
You'll get lost.
So you don't end up having another car accident.
Yeah.
Fine.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway. So, on the fateful day of Simbagate, I'd been playing... Oh, yeah. So I had this... It was like a wooden building block set. Okay, so think Lego, but
wooden.
But wooden. And it wasn't... You didn't have, like, the little holes that Lego have. You had these, like, standalone bricks which had, like, slots in. And you would, like, place one of those next to each other and then you'd slot a wooden wall in between the two, like, pillars.
Oh, I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that stuff. It's awesome. And you could make all
can
sorts of contraptions and castles and stuff out of it. It was great. So I had built a magnificent castle earlier that morning on the breakfast bar. Now, at the time, my mother and father were stood on either side of the breakfast bar, screaming at each other.
Whilst you're just busy playing.
Well, I was sat on the stairs, because as soon as it started, I was like, nope. I don't need to
Even
be
at
here.
the age of 6, I know this routine.
I don't need to be here. So I went and sat on the stairs with my Simba, sort of giving him a cuddle on the stairs. Anyway, it escalated.
Reminds me of an advert or something.
Yeah. Of like NSPCC.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it is a bit, isn't it? Yeah. And it did. I have no idea what they were arguing about. It always started
You're
off.
not meant to know.
Yeah, well, it always started off some stupid squabble, and then it would just escalate into everything that was wrong with the pair of them. And yeah, my mum started crying. She, that's her tactic when the raging doesn't work.
Crocodile tears.
The crocodile tears come out, but I didn't recognise the crocodile tears at the time.
Well, no, you're 6.
Yeah, or as a grown, when she lived with us, right, I remember upsetting her a few times, and she would be in her annex crying loudly enough that she could be heard through the floor. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm upset, I don't like anybody else to know I'm upset.
No,
and I cry as quietly as possible. Yes.
And silently cry
Yes.
in the bathroom, and everyone in my house now knows. Just leave me alone.
So the only reason I can think that happened is for attention. Anyway, sorry, digressing again. So yes. Oh, that's the cat food. Hang on. Is it cat food? Cat litter. Pause. Be right back. There we go. I think we're back.
Pause it. Unpause, sorry.
Unpause. Pause it. Right, sorry, cat litter delivery. Really
I
critical.
thought it was cat food.
No, I was wrong. It was cat litter. Something cat related. Anyway, so yes, crocodile tears. And I came down into the kitchen, and because Simba, my cuddly toy Simba, was such a comfort to me, my little brain was like, maybe it'll help Mummy. Yeah?
Yeah, Mummy's crying.
Yeah. So I gave her my cuddly toy Simba. And I think at that point, my dad gave her a nice little snarky prod of some description, and to which my Mother Dearest launched my precious Simba at his head. But unfortunately, she was a very bad aim. And so in the process, Simba took out my entire wooden castle on the way to Father Dearest. And, at 6, and, my favourite cuddly toy, I was devastated.
Well, yeah, you've done
and she'd taken out my creation.
Such an empathic thing to give away your favourite teddy
Yeah.
to your mum to help calm her and
Exactly.
be nice to her and care for her the way she cares for you.
Yeah.
And she throws it away,
Yeah.
knocking something else that you've created.
I know. Arse. So, yeah, I think I ran away upstairs in a bit of a tiz. So, yeah.
Did anyone come comfort you after that?
I don't remember. Maybe. Perhaps. Don't know. Do you know, I will actually, let me just have a quick sip. Quick side tangent. Okay. About when we moved house when I was much, much younger. I was maybe 3. I remember the moving van being loaded, and I was bored because, you know, moving house is boring when you're a kid. And yeah.
I always made it fun for mine.
Oh no, mine was always boring.
No.
And I had this little plastic horse on wheels. Right.
I know where this is
Yeah,
going.
and I was riding it up and down the pavement in front of the house while all our earthly belongings were being loaded. And I don't know, it must have hit a rock or something. Okay, so the horse flipped forward, and I face planted face first on the pavement, and I had quite a prominent fat lip from that. And I remember being really, really upset, and my mother was faffing with something, so Dad picked me up and was comforting me and stuff. And he was telling me how naughty this horse was.
Yeah.
For bucking me off, right?
Naughty horse.
Naughty horse, yeah. So as punishment for the horse, he made the removal men put the horse right at the top and the back of all the boxes.
I love that.
Yeah. You know, there are consequences to your actions, horsey. Yeah, absolutely. And then another time, again, this was the same house that we were just moving out of. When I was young, I was absolutely obsessed with apple juice. Couldn't get enough of the stuff.
Right.
And when I was pregnant with my eldest, actually, it was appetizer. I had to have it all the time. It was awesome. Anyway, sorry, side tangent. And I remember in like the morning, I'd gotten up really early to watch cartoons. You know, the really crap ones that are on at like 5 a.m. Like Clangers and whatever else. And Clangers isn't crap.
Oh, I
Clangers
love
awesome.
Yeah. And Peppers.
Yes. Yeah, so it was all of those types.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, stuff from the 70s. And yeah. And I'd gone into the fridge to get a drink. And I thought, oh, there's a glass there with apple juice in it. Well, that makes life easier, doesn't it? So I got it out the fridge and I took a massive, massive gulp of it. Only it wasn't apple juice. It was my mum's whiskey from the night before.
See, I thought that was normal growing up because I'd always see a glass of Coke on the side.
You usually mixed with
or
something
orange
else.
juice.
Yeah.
Like the pure orange juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always had like vodka in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be done.
So I'd take a massive, massive gulp and then be like,
You're like, yeah. Oops. Okay, so the most humorous part of this post is
I'll have to tell you one day about how my mum made, was it vodka or something like that, evaporate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. We'll get on to that. So the best one of this is when my parents got married. And they got married when I was 7. And even then I remember thinking, why are you getting married when you don't like each other? It makes no sense. Dad he'd booked a holiday of a lifetime. And it was 3 weeks long. So the first week was in Phuket, however you pronounce it, one of them. Followed by a week in Hong Kong, where my parents would get married on April Fool's Day. And then a final week in Bali for the honeymoon. And the only real memory I have of Phuket or Bali, I can't remember which one it is, was we were all paddling in the sea, and it was like turquoise. It was crystal clear, beautiful, and you could see waves crashing over the coral reef like in the distance. And Mum was a bit further out, and Dad was with me nearer the shore. And I saw between all like the little rocks and stuff on the seabed, I saw this like snake. It looked like a snake, sea creature thingamabob, and it was snake-esque, okay, and it was black with a red stripe up its back with white circles all around it.
Right.
Okay, and I remember I pointed it out to my dad and I was like, "What's that? Who's ringing me?" "Oh no, why is school ringing me?" "What do you want? I don't want to speak to you."
It's never a good thing.
It wasn't a very long one. Like
They'll leave a voicemail.
Okay, fine. We'll worry about that if they do that.
Let's finish this and then
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah, so I spotted this swimming through the rocks and I went to Dad, what's that? And my dad hates creatures of any shape or description, detests them.
This massive bloke.
Yeah, literally, because he's as wide as he is tall. Okay, and he's not particularly tall, but he's a burly bloke. Bright ginger hair, beard, Yorkshire man who's been a rugby prop for nearly his entire life. And so he's there and he shrieked, Manly-esque, going, "Snake!" and like hauled me out of the water. And he's there hollering back at my mother saying, "Stop being so bloody stupid, woman, and get out." Because she's just like quite oblivious, pottering around. Like, doo-doo-doo. And she stood there and she goes, "Don't be so dramatic. It's just a water worm. It's harmless." And later on, we actually found out it was extremely poisonous and dangerous. Now, they have left me a voicemail, so I'm going to pause. Where's my mouse? I've lost it. There it is. I'm going to pause again and be right back. Sorry, we're back. My firstborn has forgotten his football kit for his after-school club. Muppet. Yes, so fast forward now to Hong Kong. Now, to me, this will always be known as the city of escalators. They are bloody everywhere. Everywhere. And even now, I don't like escalators. It's all that worrying about timing when you're going to get on. You're like, do I get on now? And then if you like land your foot half on a step, you're worried about falling down or getting like a bit of clothing trapped in between like the teeth. I don't know. They're just terrifying contraptions. I don't like them. I don't know.
My daughter calls them excavators.
Excavators, yeah. So the day before they got married, Dad had booked for us all to go and watch the Hong Kong Sevens rugby match. And, like I said, he's a big rugby fan, so why not? Now, that morning, I'd been messing about with the safe in the hotel, like buttons, like I do in your car.
Just as long as it's not the volume.
Yeah, you can't touch the volume knob, Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh, no, she'll have a conniption.
It has to face straight up.
It does, yeah. So I'd accidentally changed the code whilst I was like messing about. I got a bit of a dressing down for it, but it wasn't the end of the world. The hotel staff said they could fix it. It just meant that we couldn't get our passports out for the time being.
But you weren't due to leave, so
No,
it's fine.
Didn't matter. So on our way to the match, my parents were kind of having their odd squabble again, as they do. And we stopped to grab McDonald's on the way because my mum had a thing about hot chocolates. And back in the day, the hot chocolates from McDonald's were almost like the temperature of the sun.
I still think they are.
Yeah, actually, to a degree, they are still extra hot, aren't they?
Mm.
Like, if you get a Starbucks or something, it's kind of like you have to drink it right then and there, otherwise it's going to get cold.
Yeah.
It's like tepid.
Like McDonald's ones are just...
Yeah.
You could... My son's got one. Been to gym for 2 hours and then it's finally ready to be drunk.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Now, I genuinely think she had the memory of a goldfish because she burnt her mouth on these things every time by trying to drink it immediately. Okay. So on this occasion, she did it again. She tried to drink her hot chocolate straight away and was like, spurted it everywhere, all over her top. And that kind of kicked the little squabble my parents were having into overdrive. And all of a sudden, she was storming back to the hotel, saying that she was catching the first flight home and she was so foolish, she would never agree to marry him, and all that sort of stuff. You're a horrible person, and why have I ever agreed to marry you? Rah, rah, rah.
Spit my hot chocolate out, and now it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all very dramatic, and my dad's just stood there like, good luck, because you can't get the passports out of the safe. Because obviously he remembered, because he wasn't in a rage and having a pitch in a fit, that I'd been messing about with it earlier that day. So for the rest of my relationship with Mother Dearest, it was always my fault that she ended up marrying my dad.
Because she couldn't say no and
I know.
stay
Well, that's
there
what I
anyway.
mean. Because she couldn't get her passport, heaven forbid that she just used the word no. And, that's been a running theme with her and I for a long time, is she'll pitch a fit about something that she agreed to do. And then I'm like, well, why don't you just say no then if you don't want to do it? Oh, well, I wanted to be helpful. It's like, well, you're not being helpful because now you're being an arsehole. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would have rather you said no in the first place than offer, do it, and then let me down or go mental about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So the morning of their wedding arrived, April Fool's Day, okay, back in the day. And my dad took me elsewhere where he and his best man were getting ready. And he took me into his, let me in on their little secret. Because it was April Fool's Day, my dad and his best man were going to turn up to the wedding dressed as giant chickens. Okay? Now, I genuinely don't know where they got the costume from, if they tracked it all the way from England, like, but how? Because my mother was in and out of everybody, so I don't know how they kept it hidden.
They must...
Or if they'd hired them in Hong Kong, I don't know.
They must have hired them.
Yeah, they were genuine. They were absolutely, they were magnificent. So they looked like Big Bird had two mildly demented cousins who were on the rampage in Hong Kong. I think I've got a photo somewhere in the loft.
Oh, please do.
It's so funny. But, I kept that to myself. I didn't tell Mother Dearest. And as the ceremony rolled around, my dad and his best man were standing at the altar in their feathery guises. And Mum started walking down the aisle and sort of stopped, like... And I think everyone was like, oh, this could go either way. Is it funny, is it not? I'm not sure. Thankfully, she found it amusing and then insisted that the best man give her his costume to wear. So now we have two Big Birds, or distant relations to Big Bird, and a half-naked best man at the altar. Yeah.
And they got married like that.
They got married like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't make it up, can you?
No. It's very original.
It is. Yeah. Very, very. So yeah, that's it for Mother Dearest Part 1. Unfortunately, the rest of her saga isn't quite so entertaining because she is a lunatic and she's put me through a lot of crap. So, yeah, when we get to those, I'll try to make it an engaging discussion, but it might not be. Just a warning.
Just a warning.
See, you're now fiddling about with your ring. You can't help it, and that makes noises too. Can you hear that?
No, I'm half deaf.
Oh, well, yeah. And there's a dog barking somewhere. Ugh.
How can you hear that?
Because I'm not half deaf. Oh. And I'm overly sensitive to sounds and people chewing. Ugh.
Ugh, no, I can't say that one.
We should do an episode at some point about our icks.
Yes.
Yes. And our weird things that just make us so enraged that you feel like you need to claw your skin off right then and there. Ugh. Yeah.
Oh, I never want to claw my own skin off.
Or
I just want to
murder that individual.
Chuck them down the stairs.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Put them in the bin. Put them in the bin. Oh dear. We have to talk about our accident proneness at some point. Yeah.
You'll be here all day.
I know we will. And we have adult things to do. It's 12 o'clock. We said we would go and do grown-up stuff.
We do need to do adult stuff. And
these chairs are
get
really
off these
uncomfortable.
chairs.
Yeah, my arse has gone numb. Anyway, so have a lovely day.
Fly.
Fly. You sure fly?
I got it!
Oh, you did! Ah! You're like a spider.
No, I never crushed
you're
spiders.
like one of them frog things, aren't you? They're like...
Have good reaction.
Yeah. Why am I ringing again?
Ugh.
What was that?
I heard that.
Me too. Right.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.